Hey gaming fans, so today I have another Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile, and this one is Worms. These are kind of a fun archetype. They came out in Hidden Arsenal quite a long time ago actually, but they can do some pretty fun tricks. So let's get to the deck. So for the first one we're playing 3 Worm Cardaros. I believe that's how it's said, I don't know. It's a flip effect monster. You add 1 level 4 or lower reptile worm monster from your deck to your hand. So it's pretty much, I guess, the searcher of the deck. Then the next one we have 3 worm Yagen. So these guys are interesting. If the only monster you control is a worm Zex, I believe it's pronounced, is X-E-X. You can special summon this card from your graveyard in face down defense position. If you do, remove it from play when it is removed from the field. So you have to keep that in mind. And then when this card is flipped face up, you could select 1 face up monster your opponent controls and return it to its hand. So it can kind of help bounce away a troublesome monster. And so the other part of this is the Worm Zex. X-E-X. So this guy's, he's kind of like your muscle as well. He's 1800 attack, and when he's normal summoned, you can send 1 reptile type worm monster from your deck to your graveyard. And if you control a face-up Worm Yagen, this card cannot be destroyed by battle. So they kind of do work hand in hand. And obviously with his effect, you're going to send the Worm Yagen, and then you're going to special summon it with its effect. So then you get the 2 worms on the field. Then for a little bit more, I guess, muscle for the deck, I added Worm Dimicles. I mean, there's a lot of other worms, but a lot of them are just, they don't do anything else, or they're just really weird. So this one, at least it gives it a little bit of a power boost. It can become a 2000 attacker. And for the final worm, we got the 3 Worm Kings. I put 3 in here just because you always want to be able to summon it. He's got a pretty cool effect that he could be tribute summoned in face-up attack position by tributing 1 reptile worm monster. So he is a 2 tribute monster, but if you tribute a worm, he's a 1 tribute monster for 2700 attack. And you can tribute 1 reptile type worm monster to select 1 card your opponent controls and destroy it. So pretty good destruction effect too. And there's a way to cheat him out onto the board as well. And then for the rest of the monsters, because we're playing all lights, I just threw in 3 honest. That way, if you have any of these guys in attack mode, your opponent can never really attack over it. And then for some more control, 3 effect veilers, because you don't want to have to deal with monster effects that could just stop your plays or who knows what. So that's the monster lineup. Now into the spells. So I put 3 Ties of the Brethren. I was debating on whether I wanted to use Pot of Desires, but I wasn't too crazy about banishing a lot of stuff from this deck because there is a lot of stuff you want to keep in the deck. But this actually pulls out the ones you need. So you pay the 2000 life points, target 1 level 4 or lower monster you control, and for the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you could special summon monsters, 2 monsters from your deck with the same type and attribute and level, but with different names. So you can grab a bunch of different worms, essentially. I put in 2 double summon because we do have a draw card in this deck, so you might want to actually summon 2 monsters in a turn. Monster Reborn, because it's Monster Reborn. I mean, you might want to bring back anything that ends up in the graveyard, or grab your opponent's monsters. I threw in 1 Book of Tayu, just thinking that some of these flip effects you might want to get off on turn 1, or on the turn you set it. So, like this guy, for instance, where you can search out a reptile. So, if you turn 1, or even just on another turn, if you have to set the monster, you got something that you could actually get its flip effect off. And then kind of the reverse, I went with Book of Moon as well. So 2 of those, because these work offensively and they work defensively. I mean, if you can turn your opponent's monsters face down, stop their plays, you could do a bunch of things. Then because it's fresh off the ban list, why not play a Harpy's Feather Duster, just to deal with back row, and Raigeki, again, just to deal with troublesome monsters. And so that's it for the spells that I put in here. So for the traps, obviously this card is the best card to play in this deck. W Nebula Meteorite. So basically this changes all face down monsters on the field to face up defense position, which is cool because that's what you want to do after you're setting all these monsters. And then during your end phase of your turn, you can change all face up light reptile monsters, which is all your monsters pretty much except for the Honest and Veilers, to face down defense position, and then you draw one card for each. So if you have like 4 worms on the field, you flip them all face down, then you draw 4 cards. So that's pretty crazy. And then you can special summon a level 7 or higher light reptile monster from your deck. And that's going to be obviously the Worm King, which is why I went with 3, just to make sure you could always pull off that effect. Then, because it's a normal trap that you want to see, I put in 3 trap tricks, just to make sure you pretty much will get it off, because you'll have the 3 there and you'll have the 3 there. And then to level out the traps, another normal trap that you can search with trap trick is Offering of the Snake Deity, where you can destroy 1 reptile monster you control and 2 cards your opponent controls. So it's just more destruction. As you can see, I made this deck go towards a lot more destruction, just getting rid of their stuff. And that's it. I mean, originally I was going to put Wabaku in this place, just as a defense card, but I figured let's just get more offensive. Now for the extra deck, we got 2 King of the Feral Imps, pretty much two monsters to summon it, 2 level 4 monsters, but once per turn you can detach a material and add 1 reptile type monster from your deck to your hand. So that's cool because it'll add pretty much every one of your worms, or it will add every one of your worms, so you can even grab your Worm King. And then I threw in Gaga Cowboy, that's always a good finisher. Photon Palpanil, whatever, the butterfly guy. 2 level 4 monsters. Once per turn, you can detach a material from this card to target a defense position monster on the field and change it to attack position. So it's another way, kind of like Book of Taiyu, to just flip over one of your monsters if you really need to. Or if your opponent tries to go in defense with like scapegoats or something, you can flip one of them into a face-up, to change its position. Next we got the Starliege Paladynamo. It's 2 level 4 light monsters, which you will have, because your reptiles or pretty much all your level 4s are light. And then once per turn, you can detach 2 materials from this card to target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Its attack becomes 0, and if it does, its effects are negated. So really good card. And when this card is destroyed by your opponent's card by battle or card effect, you get to draw a card. So more drawing, always good. Then we got number 39 Utopia, who also, not to mention that these 3 are light monsters, so they work with Honest as well. But you have your Utopia play, Digusto Emerald, just to return stuff back to your deck. Castel, just another problem solver. Abyss Dweller, always a good card to have. 101 Arc, because it's cool. And I thought I'd throw in one of these Violent Sigmas. Again, another light monster, but it's 3 level 4 monsters, which you can pull off in this deck pretty easily. And you can detach a material from this card to target 1 face-up attack position effect monster your opponent controls and equip it to this card. So sort of like the Silent Arc, but it's just any effect monster. And if this card battles a monster whose attribute is the same as the card equipped to this effect, you destroy the monster. So really cool card. And then I put in just my standard lineup of Link stuff that you can pull out. Underclock Taker, Pentastag, Power Code Talker, and Borolo Dragon. Just very basic. I mean, you could just put whatever you want there. But yeah, that's the deck. It's just a fun reptile worm deck. It can pull off a lot of neat tricks, and every time you see this card, you're going to love it. You're always going to be drawing cards. You're going to get your free Worm King. Really cool card. And, you know, I just felt that this is just kind of a fun deck to play. Anyways, hope you liked the deck. Throw some comments down below what you think, what you would swap out or what you would add to the deck, or if you like it just as it is. Anyways, hope you liked the deck. Hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.